Hey guys, John here, and welcome to my Peter Panzerfaust Collection video. This video is the same one that I hinted at doing about 2 years ago. It was supposed to be a type of PSA trying to get people on it and check it out, but the series went on hiatus for almost 2 years. I think it was like a year and a half, close to 2 years. So most Peter Panzerfaust diehards did not know what was going on with the series. Thankfully, Curtis J. Weeb and Tyler Jenkins came back and gave us 2 issues, gave us some closure. And this week marks the day that the last volume for this series is coming out in trade. So I'm going to try my hardest and not spoil anything for you guys if you want to read this or if you are waiting for the last and final trade. But it's going to be very difficult to me because this book is, I'm very emotionally attached to it. So it's in my top 10 of titles of all time. So without further ado, guys, if you're here for the story, if you're here for the PSA, or if you're here for the collectability, if you're here for the covers, the second prints, welcome. I'm going to try my best and give this book the justice that it deserves. Please leave comments down below if you guys have any questions. And without further ado, here is Peter Panzerfaust.
Believe me when I tell you, this is no fairy tale.
Here we have it, folks, issue 1 of Peter Panzerfaust, the first print. Main protagonist of this story is Peter, but also another important character is John Parsons. John Parsons is the man who goes to Europe and tries to locate Peter and the Lost Boys. And he comes across the first Lost Boy, who was Gilbert. This is a second print of issue 1. He comes across Gilbert, who kicks off the issue with the story of the first meeting of Peter and the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys are, of course, Gilbert. He's the first one. Gilbert. The interview is conducted with, and we have Felix, Julian, Alain, and Claude and Maurice, who are the 2 twins. So they are 15-year-old boys whose orphanage have just been blown up. And coming out of the rumble, the first person they see is Peter, and right away he immediately takes them under his wing and gets them to fight and take back their country, their little town, Calais. So this is 1942, Calais, France. So there we go, second print. Oh, there's so much glare, it's beautiful. There you have issue number 2. There's the Lost Boys right there on the cover. So issue number 2 is basically the first battle. Peter takes them into battle right away, gives them guns, and motivates them. And 15-year-old boys, he turns to men, and we get to see this magical story unravel throughout. And here's a second printing of issue 2 as well. Just beautiful colors there. Tyler Jenkins really paints the picture of 1940s France, occupied by Germany. I love the aged, stressed look of this poster. Just very muddled colors. He has different colorists. The last 2 issues of Peter Panzerfaust, you will notice that they're more like Grass Kings, the book that just came out last week, I think. Tyler Jenkins' book, yeah. So it's all right, but these ones are more darker. Anyways, here is issue number 3, the first appearance of Wendy Darling. Well, technically, not really the first appearance, because she appears at the end in the last panel. And basically what you see on the cover is a little hints to what happens at the end. She is actually located. She was in the plane that just went down, and that's it. And that's when you see her. But the story continues. Her main First full is in 4. But this is also a very interesting issue because this is the first time we get to see Captain Hyken, and it's a pretty intense battle between Peter and Captain Hyken. This is the issue where Peter stabs Captain Hyken in his hand, in which we all know what leads to that wound, and becomes Captain Hook, right? So Peter Pan mythology is sprinkled throughout this series. Here's another copy of issue number 3 because it's just phenomenal. I love this issue. Yeah, so an example is he doesn't curse, but when he curses, his words are pixie dust. He'll use pixie dust as a curse word, which is, I think, as a fan of Peter Pan, it's really great to see. Pretty phenomenal issue right here. This is the first full appearance of Wendy Darling, plus we get to meet John and Michael, who are Wendy's brothers. This is when the series starts getting a little darker. So Peter just stabbed Captain Hyken in the hand in the previous issue. This is when we get to see the first death of a lost boy. Once again, I'm not going to spoil this for you guys. You guys really got to read this story, and I'm trying to do my best without spoiling too much, because I really want you guys to feel the emotion and the cliffhangers, and I want you guys to take it all in, because it's an exceptional series. So yes, there's a death here. It's pretty sad. And there's issue 5, which is a dead giveaway of what happened in the previous issue. We have a lost boy there kneeling down. It looks like the silhouette of a cross, a crucifix. So there you go. Also, an interesting issue here is that Peter tells, we're back in 1940 here, but Gilbert is doing the interview 60 years later. But we get to find, we get a little hints, a little information on Peter Panzerfaust's motivation. Why is he in France? Because he is an American, and he just ended up in France. I'm not going to tell you guys why, because I want you guys to find out on your own. But it's, do we believe his motivation? Is he telling the truth? Is he one of those that keeps on changing his origin? And also, if you guys remember Peter Pan, the original story, he wanted the mother, right? So, something very interesting here, guys. Awesome. Another fantastic issue that features one of my favorites, Lost Boy, and that's Julian right over there. So John Parsons is now interviewing Julian 60 years later. Julian kicks off with the story about the time he went undercover as a Nazi to find, I forgot to mention, because I don't want to spoil anything, but I forgot to mention that in the previous issues, Felix, mourning while he just lashed out in mourning death of his friend, went and attacked the Nazis on his own, and he was captured. So this is them devising a plan to get Felix back. Julian goes undercover as a Nazi, and the reason why Julian tells this story about him going undercover as a Nazi is because it's the story about how he met Tiger Lily, and in the last panel we get a little glimpse of Tiger Lily and how he came across her. And Tiger Lily is one of my favorite characters, not only in the book, but female characters in comics. There's no one really as badass as Tiger Lily. She's incredible. She kicks every single superhero's ass, Marvel and DC. She is that damn fucking good. So here we have Tiger Lily, the first full appearance of Tiger Lily. I have a second printing as well, which is a gorgeous mirrored copy. Let me just do it like that, so you guys can see. There's the second printing, beautiful. Everything's mirrored, the letters and her. She's just staring at each other. That's really cool. I'll just get it back here. Focus on this beauty. So yes, a lot of first appearance in this one. Of course, we get the first full of Tiger Lily, which we get to meet her father, who is the big chief, and he is the chief of the Braves. And also, we also get to meet his right-hand man, Jacques. Pay attention to Jacques, because he's an important character, and something transpires that, pissed me off when I was reading it, but whatever. It's really cool. All
You
right,
gotta
like
read
I
it.
said, things are getting darker and darker, but let's just observe this beautiful cover for issue 8. There you go. You see Peter right there in the forefront, stating right off the tracks as the train is approaching. Love the way Tyler Jenkins drew this, and I forgot who colored it, but just the fog and the smoke and the mysterious train coming through. They're getting ready to save their friend, their brother Felix. And of course, this is another. I love this cover so much. Why not get two, right? And then all of a sudden, in the caboose at the end, they get Felix, and boom! This is a second printing of issue 8. Captain Hyken is in the caboose, so we get to see Captain Hyken It's the first appearance of Captain Hyken with the Hook. Second printing is the spoiler to that issue. But everyone freaks out over issue 9 for some reason, because the cover is great too. We get the look of the look of the Hook. I didn't want to rhyme there. So fantastic story. 2 copies of issue 8 and a gorgeous second printing. Peter Panzerfaust. What were you guys thinking? You should have pulled this when it was coming out. Issue 9. Which cover do you guys want to look at? Alright, let's just check out all 3. Alright. So here we go. Issue 9. The first full appearance of Captain Hook. Captain Hyken is Hook now. Remember, in issue 3, Peter stabbed his hand. Total war. It was just incredible. But this issue is so incredibly amazing. It's so dark. We get... Oh, it's gonna fall. I can't put all 3 there. Okay, whatever. Let's look at 1. You know I have 3. Actually, I have more. I gave them away to Running with Comics Scott. So Peter's interrogated here, really badly beaten. Just amazing dialogue, conversation between Hook and Peter about philosophy, about war, just human nature, and just amazing stuff. And at the end, Captain Hook wants to make a statement, and he pulls them out of the bunker and into this big building which has a plank. Resembles Captain Hook's ship. Remember the ship with the plank where you hear, the pirates like, walk the plank. So he puts a guy on the plank, and he keeps on asking Peter, where is the location for the Braves? Where's the lair of the Braves? And Peter won't talk. He's that loyal. He's amazing that way. And boom, he executes someone on the plank. Peter's next. Is it Peter that goes on the plank? I'm not sure who it was now. Someone's pulled out to the plank, and something happens. Unleash the Tiger Lily, issue 10. We get to see Tiger Lily kicking ass again, for just incredible. Julian's still telling the story. She saves them. She's incredible. Great story about Julian and Tiger Lily's relationship. They eventually get married. It's an incredible battle in the rain. I love the way rain battles are painted by Tyler Jenkins. And we have a gorgeous second print there honoring the chief. There he is. Amazing. Amazing second print. I love this. I love when books do second printings different from the original. Gorgeous stuff. There we go, right Peter Panzerfaust number 11. I hope I'm doing a good job here, guys, by not spoiling it. I don't want to take too long on this video. I know some of you probably already left. You just wanted to see the number 1, so then left. But stick around, man. This is a great story. So issue number 11, we get to see, this is the first appearance of the Hook's Hunters, the group of hunters. You guys remember from Peter Pan, the original story. And this is the interview of Felix, the hard-ass Felix. But yes, the first hunters, and they appear in the last panel, and how they appear is pretty insane. John and Michael Darling, they're younger kids. They're pretty naive. They've led the hunters to the house where they were at, basically their headquarters. They're just hiding out. But all the Lost Boys, all the gang, they're all gone. They're all gone looking for John and Michael, because John and Michael went missing. But just insane stuff happened here. They're under attack. Someone throws a bomb. Oh wait, no, that's this issue. But anyways, the house explodes. Peter's in it by saving Felix. He throws Felix out of the window to save himself, like to save more of the battle here. We have a death here in this issue, which is really really sad. Felix is telling a great story. I can't spoil the death, but you guys are gonna find out anyways from the upcoming issues. But someone dies here, another one of the members, by sacrificing themselves to help and protect the family, the lost boys, and all that. But silent panels, I think this is the issue where that has some powerful silent panels, and we get to see why Felix is a hard ass. I think it's this. There we go. That's us, Felix in the future, right there. First appearance of TikTok Croc. You guys know who TikTok Croc is? TikTok. Awesome stuff. How he appears, and Felix is about to get executed because someone from the group is actually a traitor, actually works for Captain Hook, Captain Hyken. So again, another amazing twist. Right at the end, something happens. We get to hear the tick tock, and it actually freaks out Captain Hook, but you'll find out later on why it freaks out Captain Hook. It's one of the last issues. Okay, sorry about that, folks. My phone rang. Okay, so issue 15. There he is right there, guys. That's TikTok Croc. Very mysterious character. We don't know too much about him, but we do get a pretty big nugget towards the end of the series. I have my issues mixed up. I think this is the issue where it has those very powerful silent issues that talk about Felix's motivation, the time. It basically explains why he's fearless and has nothing to live for. And the silent panels bring us all the way up to the moments just before he met Peter Panzerfaust after the orphanage got blown up. So great issue. Gorgeous cover right here for issue 16 that features Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily is going to dominate the rest of the arc within these few issues. So she's mourning a death. Something drastic happened. This arc is named The Hunt. We get to see how incredibly badass she is. Just love everything about her. I'm trying my hardest not to spoil, but we get some first appearances here as well about some pretty incredible female leads, some gorgeous women who are spies and are totally leading the war of this resistance and this Nazi occupation in France. Tiger Lily is fighting her own war. People are not selfish. They know, they understand why she's doing it. Peter Panzerfaust and the Lost Boys are taking care of the war that's happening, but she has her own score to settle. She's going after the hunters. Incredible. The Hunt continues, part 2, issue 17. Such a fearless warrior. I love this cover because, you know, it's basically, she's a hunter. She hunts her prey. And I'm not talking about animals here, folks. You know, it's just so well done. I can't spoil this, but just take it all. Issue 18, that's Peter right there being tortured in the lake, chained to a stone. And he's actually, I didn't want to spoil the other issues, but yes, he got captured. I guess he allowed himself to be captured, but he's been missing for 4 months. A lot of people think he's dead, but obviously he's not. And look closely, that's Peter underwater, and he has a key in his mouth. Just to prove to you guys how resourceful and incredible this guy is. So he develops a relationship with this hunter who is watching over him. And very powerful line here is when they're talking to each other. He's telling this hunter Emmerich, his name is Emmerich, that I've escaped 23 times only to avoid killing you. You know, you're not a bad person. It's this war has changed you, has made you a bad man. And then something happens at the end. Someone shows up, and just like that, Tiger Lily does not tell the story. She does not talk to John Parsons. Julian is the one that talks to John Parsons during the interview, but Tiger Lily did hand over John Parsons a diary of what she was feeling and her emotions, and very intense stuff. You see a nice art panel drawn of John Parsons finishing Tiger Lily's diary, and he has a tear and he's just crying. It's awesome. How many times have I said awesome? You guys are probably like sick. Issue 19 is The Hunt. Continues on with The Hunt. Right there we see Peter, because Tiger just saved him. We see Peter, Tiger Lily, and Julian, her husband. Julian is one of the Lost Boys. Just more hunting. And here you go, issue 20. The last part of The Hunt. Tiger Lily gets her revenge, feels vindicated, because of something really bad happened to her. Something very close to her. You guys already probably know by now. But yes, Julian and Tiger have said they are done with this war. They want to continue on with their lives. Peter understands and gives them basically an honorable discharge from the group, from the Resistance, the Lost Boys. A variant that was given to me without the banner by my good friend Scott, Running with Comics, I got him into the Panzerfaust, and he loves this series as much as I do. So it's great to have a friend that was reading this alongside with you. Great issue right here, number 21. The interview right now is, I want to say it's Claude, I'm not sure. But something happens here at the end. Everyone's just continuing to mourn Peter's death. He's been gone for so long, like I said, over 4 months. They don't know what to do. They all feel lost. They are the Lost Boys, but now they're literally lost. And then right at the end, Peter shows up like nothing ever happens. Just, go lucky, cheerful Peter. And Wendy sees him at the door. And when we see Wendy at the end, she's pregnant. Wendy is 4 months pregnant. That's a Rockefort cover, by the way. This is the time where they switched cover artists for an issue. I think it was Rockefort did this, and Tyler Jenkins did the Rat Queens, which was another book Curtis J. Weeb was writing at the time. Issue 22, there we had the two twins right there, Maurice and Cloud. Very cool guys there, and they are surrounded by the mermaids. Remember the mermaids in Peter Pan? These are the mermaids. The mermaids are a group of women. They're basically like burlesque dancers. They live in this hotel, gentlemen's club. Very typical 1940s France. But don't be fooled by their looks. Even though they are gorgeous, portrayed very gorgeous, they are lethal. They are killing machines. They are soldiers of war. Amazing group of women. I love the mermaids. Just something so sexy about them. Just they're so strong and beautiful at the same time. They're a big reason why the Lost Boys take down the Nazis towards the end. Vicious battle. And here we have issue 23 closing in on the series. After this issue, it actually almost took 1.5 years, 2 years for the last two issues to come out. A very important issue here. Before I get into that, on the cover we have the two twins, Maurice and Claude. But yes, this is a very important issue because we get an origin for TikTok Croc. The reason why it's Maurice and Claude is because Felix, when he met TikTok Croc, he actually told the story to the Lost Boys, and most of them didn't believe him, laughed at him. But Maurice and Claude looked into it, and they actually found some interesting stuff about this mysterious figure. And I'll give you guys a little hint. Well, not really a hint, but I'll tell you a little bit about who he is. He actually is the doctor that performed the surgery on Captain Hook. And here we have issue 24, second last issue, getting the troops together, getting ready for the war, the confrontation. A lot of blood will be shed. Yeah, we get to see that final fight between Hook and Pan. And here we go, 2 copies of issue 25, the last issue, $4.99. It's the most I've ever spent on a Panzerfaust book. But there you go, guys. Last issue. Cannot spoil anything here, unfortunately, because a lot of people are waiting on the trade. I know Scott is. But a lot of closure here. Very heartwarming. The mystery of Peter Pan. Everything that we thought about him, well, I did, kind of changed. It humanized him, if that makes any sense. Because you go into this with the thought of Peter Pan's this magical, immortal being who never grows old. But there is some parallels there to the Peter Pan story, children's story in this. Just look at that on the hook there. That's his hat, and there's the crocodile, and there's the pirate ship. It's just, there's the sword. A lot of great stuff. It's, oh my goodness, I don't know what else to say. Just amazing stuff, guys. And look at the time of the clock. It reads 12:15. Do you know why? Thanks so much, guys, if you sat through this. I really appreciate it. Once again, very emotionally attached to this series. My favorite, one of my top 10s of all time. I really hope you guys pick this up in trade. I know the singles discourages a lot of people from jumping onto a title because they become, for some reason, this book became very collectible. But that's not why I jumped on it. I jumped on it because when I read the synopsis, they kind of described it like Red Dawn. If you guys remember that movie from the 80s. It's like a dystopian future. Not really dystopian. It's just a war-torn United States being occupied by Russia. But basically the same concept. But anyways, thanks so much for your support. Thanks for sticking through this. Any questions, please feel free to hit me up. And tell me what you guys think of it. See you later.